on the story for us very closely. We're live to her now. Vanessa, good afternoon. How volatile is it where you are right now? We do see a high police visibility behind you. That's right, police, I understand.
Yes, the situation actually not volatile at all. A short while ago, when news came out from inside court that the 19 people that were arrested from the Siqalo community have been released on a warning and are only due to appear in court again on the 28th of June. The residents that have come out in support of these arrested people actually just broke out in song and dance, because they've been here since early this morning in support of their fellow residents who were taken into custody following that violence, in which we've seen an ATM being torched, we've seen shop windows broken, we've seen traffic lights in Mitchell's Plain, and that's at that intersection which divides Siqalo from Mitchell's Plain. We've seen those being destroyed, and of course we do know that the residents of Siqalo have been long fighting and asking for basic services on that piece of land. Of course, the city of Cape Town telling us, as well as the community since as long ago as 2013, that indeed is a privately owned land. They do not have access to bring in water as well as electricity. And that, of course, the sticky issue at which tomorrow there will be a meeting with residents from Siqalo as well as residents from Mitchell's Plain, and that meeting will be chaired, if one will, by the Human Settlements MEC Bonginkosi Madikizela, who is expected to put a proposal on the table to the residents from Siqalo in terms of relocating them to tracts of land which the city have identified for development. But joining me is a member of the Siqalo community, Mr. Lundi Silolo. Sir, you've been out here all day along with the community of Siqalo. After the news, you were in court. We are waiting for those people to be processed to actually walk outside of court. Just the feeling from the community at this stage.
Since 8 o'clock this morning, we were waiting. We were praying. Please, the Almighty, take them out. We need them. But the prayers above has been heard. They are coming. They are out of bed. Now they will appear on the 28th of June. We are glad now. As you can see, the people there, they are tired now. Some of them, they don't have money to eat, but because their colleagues are coming out, they are well now. We are going home now.
Mr. Silolo, you earlier on told me that the community has given its word to all the leaders that came around to the areas yesterday and brokered peace, that there will be no further protest action until at least you get a sense of what the authorities are putting on the table at tomorrow's meeting.
They said to us that the time frame, that will be 7 days. We will hear from Madikizela tomorrow. When is he going to give us that land? They've been promised us by the mayor of Cape Town.
And then, of course, I see people are still patiently waiting here right now, Mr. Silolo. Obviously, paperwork, etc., is being processed inside court. The way forward, once your colleagues and once your fellow neighbours walk out those doors.
Yes. From now, we are going home. Thereafter, we will sort now what we are going to do tomorrow morning and afternoon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lundi Silolo there from the Siqalo community. Speaking to us here outside the Athlone Magistrates Court, where, of course, quite a number of police are still maintaining a presence here. Also, the news broke earlier on that the 19 people that came or that were arrested during those violent protests, they were brought to the Athlone Magistrates Court, and, of course, subsequently they were also released on a warning, of course, just waiting for paperwork, etc. As you can see there, quite a number of residents. They've been patient all morning. As Mr. Silolo just said, some of them have not eaten today, but they've decided to come out here, spend the day here to show their support for those arrested. And of course, the plight of the people of Siqalo is basic services, water, electricity. Of course, yesterday also speaking to residents of Mitchell's Plain, they feel that these violent protests bar them from going to work, sees their property destructed and so on. And of course, tomorrow the meeting will be with community members from both sides to try and find a lasting solution to the issues of Siqalo and Mitchell's Plain.
Vanessa, thank you for that update. I just want to quickly ask you one more thing before I leave you. These protests are really taking on racial overtones or racial character as such. And we are seeing some very definite, clear tensions emerging between our black and coloured communities in this part of the country. You've been working on the ground with residents, talking to ordinary people, talking to community activists. Can you give us a sense of the kind of social cohesion or dynamics we're seeing playing out between these two communities in Cape Town right now?
What I can tell you is that the community of Siqalo is largely black and the community of Mitchell's Plain largely coloured. But I must say I find it difficult to say outhand that this issue has anything to do with race. On the other hand, whether racial overtones have come into this debate, certainly yes. The issue at hand is that people are demanding a better way of life. So when one looks at the Siqalo community, they're saying, here we are on a piece of land, it's not fit for habitation. However, we have nowhere else to go. A lot of these community members have been or were backyard dwellers from other communities evicted there. They've started settling on the land at Siqalo a couple of years ago. And of course, the city does not own that land, and therefore the city says they cannot bring services to the area. The residents of Mitchell's Plain, on the other hand, say to us that they are ratepayers. They've got bonds to pay. They, for example, the main roads at Jake's Cadwell trying to get out of Mitchell's Plain, and that, of course, being the scene of where these violent protests started on Tuesday, saying that they cannot get to work. And of course, what we've seen flowing from that issue, from the violence emanating at that protest, yes, I have seen, even as well as on social media, I've seen racial tensions flaring up. But one cannot say that this issue is a black-coloured issue at heart. At heart, the start of the protest was because the people of Siqalo were looking and asking and demanding services. And of course, the Mitchell's Plain community feeling that in them doing so, they are denying their basic rights of being able to move freely into and out of the Mitchell's Plain area.
Senior reporter Vanessa Poonah coming to us live from the mother city there, of course, helping us navigate through that developing story of protest action in Cape Town. Let's